The Soybean School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Pride Seeds, Cruiser Max Vibrance, High Stick NT, and the Manitoba Pulse Growers.
Alright, I'm Lyndsey Smith with RealAgriculture.com. I'm joined today by Kristen Podolsky, agronomy specialist with the Manitoba Pulse Growers. We are in lovely Carmen on sort of a cool morning, and we are talking plant stand counts and how to do that with soybeans. So what have you got there? You've got some fancy tools.
Yes, so I have some tools that we will use to take plant stand counts in soybeans. And the best time to do that would be about 3 to 4 weeks after planting, depending when the soybeans were planted. We want to target this stage, the first trifoliate stage. That just ensures that all the soybeans that are going to be emerging are up. So first trifoliate stage is when we want to be assessing our plant stand in soybeans.
All right, so tell me a little bit first about what we're looking at here, what stage these are at, and then maybe we'll walk through the 3 different things you've got there.
Sure. So I'm actually standing in a seeding date trial being done by the University of Manitoba, and the plot that I'm standing in right now was planted at a 6-degree soil temperature. Next to it is actually the soybeans that were planted at 8 degrees, and then further here and a little bit behind are the soybeans that were planted at 10 degrees Celsius, and this was actually only about 2 weeks ago.
All right, so we're looking at, so interesting that you've gone with soil temp as opposed to calendar date. So what's the correlation between the soil temp and the calendar date?
Right, so it's really important that soybeans are planted according to soil temperature and not necessarily calendar date, because the soil temperature can vary from year to year, even on the same calendar date, especially on a year like 2014. Soybeans emerge fastest when they're planted in soil that's at least 10 degrees. In this trial, for example, if the soybeans were planted at 10 degrees or higher, it actually took about a week to 10 days to emerge, versus those that were planted at 6 and 8 degrees, they took up to 2.5 weeks to emerge.
All right, Kristen, so let's look at this plant stand and let's evaluate how the operator did planting and or seeding.
All right, so the best tools to use for assessing plant stand is going to depend on your row spacing. For those that are solid seeded, so in 14 inches or less, it's best to use something like a square foot or a square meter, or even something as simple as a hula hoop. And so we're just going to throw it down in the field, wherever, and we want to do this in as many places as possible, realistically probably a minimum of 10 spots. And then you would just count the number of plants within the square meter or the hula hoop, and then you can actually use our new app to calculate the soybean population based on your square meter counts.
Now, does the app also contain sort of, does it bring it to yield potential or tell you about optimum plant counts? What else can farmers learn from the app there?
Right, so actually what's really interesting about the app is it's actually using new data from 18 site years of data in Manitoba that looked at different plant populations, and the results show that the economic optimum plant population for soybeans is between 140,000 plants per acre and 160,000 plants per acre. That is the economic optimum. If we're looking at something like a square foot, or if we're out in the field and we're just looking down at our feet, that's between 3 and 4 plants per square foot.
Perfect. Now, I also notice you have a skipping rope.
Yes.
What are we doing with a skipping rope in a soybean field?
So the skipping rope, and it's bright orange, is actually best to be used in beans that are planted in wide rows, so 22, 30 inch, or just even marking a line in the soil and then counting out 20 feet. That's the best way to measure plant stand in wide row beans.
Okay, thanks so much, Kristen.